Access modifiers. In Java, access modifiers restricts the scope of a class, constructor, variables, methods, or data members. There are 4 types of access modifiers. Default access modifier, where we do not use any keyword to specify the access modifier, it is said to be default access modifier. Then we have private, protected, and public. Before understanding access modifiers, you need to understand what is the scope or accessibility of the class or members belonging to the class. Please refer to the video titled Scope of Variables to understand what is a scope. Let us understand what is access modifier in detail. When you declare an instance variable, method, or class or interface, you can allow or disallow other classes to access the instance variable, method, or class. You can have control on the scope and visibility of the members. So how can we have control on the access? Here comes the need for access modifiers. We have 4 types of access modifiers. Default, in which we do not use any keyword. Private is specified using private keyword. Protected is specified using protected keyword. And public is specified using public keyword. Let us understand what is default scope. When no access modifier is specified for a class, method, or instance variable, it is said to be having default access. When the member or instance variables, method, or class are having default access, they can be accessible only within the package. For example, we have package P1, and inside package P1, we have class A and class B. And we have package P2. Inside package P2, there is class C. Class A and class B are under default access. Means that class A can access the instance variables and methods belonging to class B, which has default access, and class B can access instance variables and methods belonging to class A that has default access, because they are in the same package. But class C cannot access instance variables and methods belonging to class A and B that has default access, because class C is in different package and default access is there only within the same package. So this thing you have to remember, that in default access only within the same package classes are accessible. Classes are not accessible outside the package. We have already done examples on this. We define a class and we define some other class for main method, and we place both the classes in the same package. That is why we were able to access the class. Let us try to understand the program demonstrating the default access. Suppose the file name is a.java. We have defined package P1, and inside package P1 we have defined class A. So the code inside class A is, we have one instance variable var underscore A of type int, and value 1 lakh is assigned to it. We have a default constructor and we have a method named method underscore A. So when you compile the file, class A will be created inside package P1. So package P1 is created, and inside package P1 class A is created. Now the next class is class B. Package P1 is defined, and inside package P1 we have defined class B. We have written a main method, and we are creating object of class A. We are trying to print instance variable belonging to class A, and we are giving a call to method belonging to class A. So when you execute b.java, when you compile the file, A and B have default access because they are in the same package and no access modifier is specified. So when the main method is executed, object A is created. When the object is created, it gives a call to the constructor implicitly. So the constructor is executed and default constructor is invoked. This statement is printed to the console. Next, we are trying to print value of var underscore A. It is an instance variable. It has to be invoked using an object. We are writing a.var underscore A. So value of the variable is printed to the console. And next is, we are giving a call to the method. So control of the program goes to the method definition, and this statement, method from class A invoked, is printed to the console. So over here, the code is working fine without any errors. And class A is accessible to class B because both the classes are in same package and have default access. But what about class C? We have defined a different package, that is P2, and we have included class A belonging to package P1. That is why we have written import p1.a. We have defined class C and we have main method inside class C. Here we are trying to create object of class A. Now when compiler reads this line, class A reference variable small a equal to new, and this is a constructor. So when the object is created, it gives an implicit call to the constructor. But class C is inside package P2 and class A is inside package P1. Also, class A has default access. So now what happens is, compiler will give an error saying A is not public in P1, cannot be accessed from outside the package. So what is the compiler trying to tell you? That class A does not have public access. Public access is the access where you can access the class outside the package. In default access, you cannot access the class outside the package. You can access the class only within the same package. And class C is trying to access class A, but class C is not inside package P1. Class C, we have mentioned it inside package P2. So at this line, you will get an error and C.java will not compile and the class file will not be created. So this shows that default access allows to access the class only within the same package. If you are declaring the class in some different package, you cannot access the class. So this was about default access. Let us try to understand what is private access. Private access modifier is specified using private keyword. The methods or instance variables declared as private are accessible only within the class in which they are declared. A class cannot be private. You can declare inner or nested class as private, but not the outer class. You can declare methods and instance variables as private. So suppose you have package P1 and we have placed class A and B inside package P1. And class A has some private instance variables and methods. So whatever members you declare private are only accessible within class A. Private members are not accessible outside the class. Class B cannot access private members of class A. Why? Because private members are accessible only within the class. Now let us try to understand this program that demonstrates private access modifier. We have defined package P1 and we have defined class A inside package P1. We have an instance variable var underscore A of type int, and this instance variable is declared as private. We have assigned some value to it. Then we have constructor and we have a method. If you see, constructor and method has default scope, but the instance variable var underscore A has private access because it is preceded with private keyword, and private keyword is used to specify private access modifier. Now when you execute this file, package P1 is created and class A is created inside package P1. Now let us understand what is happening in class B. We have defined package P1. Class B is defined inside package P1. We have a main method and there is a object definition. We have created an object of class A. We are trying to print instance variable of class A. Now what happens is, during compilation time, when your Java compiler tries to compile b.java, what happens is, compiler tries to find compile time errors. So the compiler checks there is a package definition, this is okay. You have defined a class inside package P1, this is also okay. You have defined a main method. There is an object created of class A. So this line is also okay. Because class B is inside package P1, you can have default access. But this is the line where you get the error. Why? Because you are trying to access an instance variable var underscore a belonging to class A, and this instance variable has private access, and private variables are only accessible within the class. This private variable var underscore a, you can print it inside class A, or you can use it inside class A. You cannot use this variable or access this variable outside the class. Hence, class B cannot access the private instance variable belonging to class A. And compiler throws an error saying class p1.b, that is this class, tried to access private field. So it has to say you cannot access private fields or private variables belonging to other classes. So over here you get an error and the source file does not compile. Now the next access modifier is protected access modifier. Protected keyword is used to specify protected access modifier. Now what is the scope of protected access modifier? The methods or instance variables declared as protected are accessible within the package or subclass or child class in the different package. So it is saying that if your methods and instance variables are declared as protected, they can be accessible within the same package, or if you have some child class in different package, that child class can access the protected instance variables and methods belonging to the parent class. So now what are parent-child classes? This concept is explained in the topic inheritance. Hence practically I'll be explaining the program after you learn inheritance. For time being, try to understand the concept theoretically. So for example, you have package P1 and inside package P1 you have class named A and class named parent. That is package P2, and inside package P2 you have class named C and class named child. Now class A can access all the protected members of class parent, and class child, which is the child class of parent class, it can access all the protected members of class parent. But class C cannot access the protected members of class parent. Why? Because class C is in the different package and protected members are only accessible within the same package or in the different package if it is a child class. Class C is not a child class of this parent class and it is in the different package. So class C cannot access protected members of class parent. Let us try to understand what is public access modifier. Public keyword is used to specify the public access modifier. A class can be public. You can declare class, method and instance variables as public. Public members are accessible anywhere outside the package. There is no restriction on the scope of public members. It is the widest scope. For example, you have package P1 and class A and B inside package P1. Class A has public data members. So, public data members belonging to class A are accessible from anywhere outside the package. That means class C belonging to package P2 can have access to the public members of class A. Let us try to understand this with the help of a program. We have package P1 and inside package P1 class A is defined. You have an instance variable, a default constructor and a method inside package P1. So when this source file is executed, package P1 is created and class A is stored inside package P1. Then you have package P2 defined. In your class you want to access class A, which is inside package P1. Hence we write import statement import P1.a. We are defining class C. We have a main method and here we are creating object of class A. Now when the object is created, it gives a call to the constructor. The one important thing to remember, if you want your class to be accessible outside the package, so this is package P2 and inside package P2 there will be class C, and if you want class A to be accessible to package P2 to class C, you should declare your class as public. How do you declare it as public? Using public keyword. So we need to say public and the class definition, class keyword and class name. This is how you give access to your class. Now if other class wants to create object of class A, you need to make the constructor also public. So before the constructor definition, you need to precede the constructor definition with public keyword. This is mandatory. Otherwise you will get an error. So as the constructor is also public, an implicit call to the constructor is given and the constructor is accessible, it prints default constructor is invoked to the console. Next statement is we are trying to print instance variable belonging to class A. If you want to access instance variable belonging to class A, the instance variable should be public. So you need to mention public keyword preceding the instance variable definition. Only then this variable will be accessible outside the package. So as the variable is public, it is accessible outside the package, inside package P2. So class C can access the variable and the value is printed without any errors. Now the next statement is method call. So if you want method underscore A, this method, to be accessible outside the package, you need to mention public keyword in the definition. Only then this method will be accessible outside the package. So as this method is public, you can access it and the method is executed. When the interpreter reads the method call, the method is executed and the statement is printed to the console, method from class A invoke. In this whole program, if somewhere you are not mentioning public keyword, suppose we are not making our default constructor as public, this keyword is not there, then you will get compile time error at this line. Your object will give a call to the constructor and constructor is not public. Hence, compiler will throw an error saying that the constructor is not public. So this was all about access modifiers in Java. We have 4 access modifiers. Now let us do this practically.